Hello and welcome to the Temple of Tomes with your host, Indie Comics Jones. Today is April 6th, 2021, and this is episode 260. We're going to take a look at King in Black. This is number 5, the final issue of this arc, this event coming out from Marvel, and it came in at $5.99. Now, I want to just stay right off the bat. I really enjoyed the beginning of this arc. However, as it got to the end, it's now a not recommend. and I'm probably going to be the only reviewer that doesn't recommend this book. But we'll go into the good things and the bad things about this arc and this book in particular in just a moment. Just a quick look at the cover here. We've got this kind of very, I don't know what you'd call it, almost like a deconstruction of Venom, and he's got the sword of Knull here, which this doesn't really happen so much. This isn't depicted. This depiction is not in the story. This is what I'm trying to say. So, other than that, it's an okay cover, and of course there was many variants on this. And I just want to say that it was 5 issues. The first and last issues were about $6, and the middle 3 were $5. So that comes out to about $27. And my enjoyment on this $27 did not equal Infinity Wars, or even come close to it, or either Guardians of the Galaxy movies, either one of those. So in the end here, it kind of dudded out for me. But let's get into it real quick. First, we get an ad for Area 21 Earth. No idea what that's about, but it's 30 areas away from Area 51. Let's take a look to see who worked on this real quickly. Go in here, Wise. Okay, it's called Chapter 5, Dawn. You do get a little bit of a blurb, so thank you for doing that. And Donny Cates is our writer on here, Ryan Stegman the penciler. And Stegman did a good job. The art in here is pretty good. Now, I think part of the issue here was there were so many characters involved, and a lot of them changed under Knull's control, and then it was bringing them back slowly but surely, but they all couldn't have an impact in the last issue, and I think that's what made this issue suffer in part. That was one of the things. One of the good things was we don't get a lot of the typical Donny Cates narration throughout. It is narrated throughout, but it's these short blurbs from each of the characters, so it's not bad. It actually has something to do with the story. I think it's more entwined with the story, which was good. Now let's go back to the front here. Oh, did I finish everybody? Okay, the colorists on here were Frank Martin and Jason Keith, with VC's Clayton Cowles as the letterer. I'm not sure who VC is, what company that is, but there's a few lettering companies out there now. Everybody seems to be outsourcing their letters. All right, starts out, we got the arrival of the Silver Surfer. If you recall, at the end of issue 4, Reed Richards was working on a cure for Eddie Brock, or just Eddie Brock is dead, basically, and Venom had been separated from him. But he came up with he used something called the Enigma Force, and somehow that brought Eddie Brock back. So we have the Silver Surfer showing up, and he's facing off with Knull. This is just Knull's legs here. And Knull's still in control, totally in control of this fight, even though some small battles have been won against Knull. And as you can see, Knull's starts to conjure up his own sword. Look at the size of this sword that Silver Surfer has. So this was great. I was just really loving this beginning part. And then Knull gets his sword. And it looks like, and then the Avengers are coming in, rushing in to assemble. I'm going, yes. And all of a sudden we get this boom between the Avengers, Knull, and Silver Surfer here. And this boom is Eddie Brock as Venom. And Knull correctly states that he has killed Venom before, but as Venom states, not the Eddie Brock version of Venom. So this begins pretty much a back and forth monologue between the two characters. I guess that's not really a monologue, it's more a dialogue, and a huge fight, which Ryan Stegman really portrays well. He's got this huge axe now for Venom that was made out of Thor's hammer and Silver Surfer's board, and he goes right after Knull, and it's pretty much a one-way fight. As you can see, Knull is fleeing. There's many pages. He's sending his dragons out after him. He sends his minions out after, trying to slow down Venom, but Venom just keeps on whacking right through everything, causing carnage and everything. Even when Knull's able to stop him for a moment, Venom's able to kick it into high gear. He even takes down one of the Celestials that's there. Just really beautiful artwork. And it just goes on and on like this. Spider-Man helps out and is able to clamp down one of the dragons. But it's pretty much just Venom and Knull. And it goes on and on like this as Venom gets beat down more and more. And we get this huge ad for Heroes Reborn, which I'm going to skip. It just doesn't look that compelling to me. But it's up to you. And it goes on and on. Just more. Venom's able to pull Knull out of the black tar bubble that's around Earth into the sunlight. And he basically somehow takes Knull all the way to the sun, because you know that light is kind of Knull's adversary. And that's how he disposes of him, basically. And Eddie Brock comes back to Earth. He finds that the vampires, the Dracula, are starting to attack Blade now that they've the symbiotes armies have been all displaced. But the light breaks through and takes out the vampire armies. So that was kind of a neat little side story, but it was only like 2 pages for Blade. Maybe he had another issue, a side issue that went into that whole episode a little bit more. I know he kind of made peace with all the vampires, saying, "Hey, we're all toast if we don't work together." Earlier on, maybe that was like the first or second issue. But yeah, like I said, it just kind of slows down from there. Then it was that big fight, and then they're mulling around a little bit, and Eddie finds his son Dylan, who still has a part of Knull in him, and so it's up to Eddie to take him down. And Venom says he has to leave, and it was kind of just just left the whole world in shambles, basically. As now Venom is the king of the symbiotes now. He's the king. He is now the king in black. It's kind of how it ended. And I don't know. It wasn't, for me, it was, I wanted to see more of the other Marvel characters in this all fighting together. And this kind of ended up being the, I guess, the Eddie Brock show. And it just still, we don't really know what happens to Eddie Brock other than, what's going to help him with his son. His son has the symbiote in him, I'm assuming still. But, yeah, the symbiotes are free because Knull's gone, and now Venom's King in Black. So that's kind of the way it ended. Kind of anticlimactic to me. I don't know. I'm sure I'm probably going to be the only reviewer that didn't like this, but it was $27 for the set plus tax, and like I said, it wasn't nearly as good as some of the Marvel features we've seen as far as storyline goes. It started out really good, and it was kind of along the lines of Deceased, where those start out really, really good, and they kind of, to me, they kind of fizzled at the end, at least the last 2 arcs, Deadly Planet, and I can't think of what the other one was called before Deadly Planet, or Dead Planet. It was either Deadly Planet or Dead Planet, but this will not get the Indie Comics Jones, good excavating seal of approval. However, your mileage may vary. You may enjoy it. Like I said, the art was in it, was pretty good. It's good to see some of the characters in it. To me, the high point was when the Avengers assemble, and I really got like, all right, this is going to be really cool now. But kind of backed off there a little bit, unfortunately, for me at least. That was just a two-man fight the rest of the way for the next 20 pages or so. Okay, well, thank you for... oh, you know what? Let's see what else is in here. We went to the end there. There's something else that might be interesting. Okay, we have Who is Warbird? It's designed by Alex Ross, The Marvels. So I guess it's a new character. The Marvels, Who is Kevin Schumer? Also designed by Alex Ross. So there you go. We have Venom 200 coming up on sale May 12th. The week after, 1 week, what is it, 2 weeks after? 1 week after Free Comic Book Day. And then citizen ad with our friend Venom right there. So, thank you for stopping by and listening to this review. I've got a ton of comics this week, man, about 14 comics. It's a huge week for me. I don't think I've ever bought that many in 1 week before. So I got a lot of reviews coming up. I think I have one more series ending this week. It's, I think, Shino Kaji, which I'll probably do maybe around Thursday, Friday. But I think up next is Swamp Thing 2 of 10. And then we'll move on from there. About 14 comics. So first one's done. If you haven't already, please like, please subscribe, please leave comments, and we'll see you next time at the Temple of Tomes. As always, this is Indie Comics Jones bidding you adieu.